Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Tonight is Wednesday, February the 2nd, 2022, and this is this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. I am your host, Dr. Calvin Green, and I am so excited to be back with you all once again for another amazing topic, another amazing guest, which creates another amazing episode. Listen, I missed you guys last week. You should know there's always a method to my madness. If I don't have a show, I'm actually probably having a schedule conflict or something else. So last week was definitely a schedule conflict. I had to chaperone the basketball game at work, so I couldn't do my show and be in the gym at the same time. So I'm so excited to be back with you guys once again for another amazing episode of Dialogues with Doc. Listen, I missed you guys. However, in the interim, I have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, getting more amazing guests to help create more amazing content. And also have a couple other things in the fire that I'm working on as well. So listen, now we have all that out of the way. You know the house rules. We have three house rules that we've always had from the very beginning. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. That's all I ask that you do to support me. Also, if you have any questions, any concerns, you want to engage with my guests, please drop those questions, comments, and all that good stuff into the chat. We would love to engage and have a great time with you on this evening doing this amazing show. If you are watching, let me know where you are watching from. Of course, you guys know where I reside. I am holding it down for the whole DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So the DMV, I got you. I think Atlanta may be in the building watching. I think South Carolina may be in the building watching. Somebody in Zimbabwe is going to be watching one of these days. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there, and somebody in Zimbabwe will catch it one day. If you I ask that you share the broadcast because someone may be watching the show right now, and when you share it, someone may end up watching the show maybe at 3 a.m. in the morning in London one day, and may need this great, amazing content that my guest is going to provide on tonight. So make sure you are sharing the broadcast for me. Please like the broadcast for me, comment, and subscribe if you're on the YouTube channel. Tonight's show, I'm so excited. It's sponsored by the Dollar to Doc podcast. I have had so many people tell me, Calvin, I want to support you. However, I don't have the bandwidth to watch a live show. So I said, let me come up with an audio version of the podcast for the show. So the Dialogue with Doc podcast audio version is now available. It's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Anchor, and it's on Spotify. Yes, it's on all three of those. Apple was the hardest to get, but I'm in that thing. It's on there, and I actually just added 2 new episodes tonight. I added the fitness edition, and I also added the show with Darren Lindsay a couple weeks ago, who was a creative on the show who is battling renal disease. So we talked about him graphic designing and also his health journey as well. So if you want to catch those episodes on the audio side, go to the Dialogues with Doc podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and now Apple Podcasts as well. And if you want to sponsor an episode of the show, please email me at drcalvin.green@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to get you going to promote your company and the great things you are doing as well. Whew, got that out the way. Guys, pray with me tonight. God, it's been 2 years. 2 years ago, I was going through, I guess, a midlife crisis, and I got braces the day after my 40th birthday. So I am now, my teeth have been paroled, so I'm getting used to wearing these retainers. So I'm going to try to do this show tonight with these retainers in for the entire show. So I am very cautious and taking my time with my words so I don't run them together. So pray with me as I get through this journey, and we're going to go stronger and we're going to go higher in Him. Amen. All right, got that out the way. So listen, tonight's show is called the Mental Health Check-In Edition. And what I want to do, I want to bring on somebody who I know and I love. And one thing I love about this platform is that I don't know all the answers. However, the God in me is connected to the God in somebody else who has the answers. So tonight's show, the mental health check-in, guys, there are so many things happening around the world in people's lives, and I felt I needed to do a mental health check-in with all of you guys. And I wanted to bring on a guest who can help lead, guide, and kind of navigate this conversation. So, of course, I'm going to say it like this is the best analogy for me. I feel like Theo on the Cosby Show when the niece or Sandra will come home for the weekend from school. When your big sister come in town, you just get excited about it. And this young lady that's jumping on here with me tonight, I invited her on a year ago. The crazy part about it is, I don't even think she realizes that when I launched the podcast audio version of this, my very first episode was with Dr. S. So she's the first person on my audio podcast as well that has been streaming for months. And I think the topic was, I got to get me together. So we were, I got to get me together to tonight. I want to do a mental health check-in with my big sister who I have connected with, who I know and who I love. And of course, because she's coming back, I have to bring her back on the right way, the Dialogues with Doc way. So if you guys give me a second to cue it up, I'm going to ring my big sister on in just a second. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Whoa. I'm trying to fix my jacket here. Yes, we are back in the building.
Can you believe it? Oh,
listen,
my God.
I'm excited about it. You know, when we link up, it's always a good vibe, good energy. And that's what we're giving to the world tonight. Okay.
That's all we got. No gimmicks. We just giving it to you, and it is what it is.
Right. So it's always a pleasure to share space with you. I just want to say that.
Likewise, I needed to do this show, and I said I got to get Dr. S back because she's the only one that can help me with this thing. So no, thank you for saying yes. And right. I'm just so amazed at the great things that have been taking place in your life since the last time I saw you in August. Let me get this out the way. Happy birthday, because we're still celebrating. My sister had a birthday recently, and Happy New Year, all the good stuff and everything else that I have missed since September. But no, thank you for being yourself. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all that you do. And let's get into this thing.
Let's get into it.
So I got to start out asking this question because because it's still the new year. Are there any resolutions or anything that you have that you're doing, that you're committed to for this year? Or are you just like me? I don't have resolutions. I have a vision board, and I'm sticking to what I have on that board, and I'm keeping it moving.
Listen, I was like, I'm not setting anything like to the point where I'm like, this is all I'm gonna do. I am just open. Like I'm so open. I'm like, God, continue to expand my vision. I don't even want to be limited to just a vision board. I want you to continue to allow my vision to expand and to grow. So that's kind of where I'm at this year. It was something about turning 43. I'm so proud of 43 that I am in just great expectation, Doc. I'm in a great expectation.
And there is no other way to put it but great expectation, because in life there is so much happening. Yeah. I need God to do something greater than what I can even imagine, because there's so much chaos and foolishness around all of us, especially in this space, which is why I said I got to do a check-in with Dr. S for myself, number one, and then whoever else gleans from it and gets what she is saying, because the great expectation piece is key. So many people are out here struggling because their expectation levels have been shattered by something that has happened to them, and that shattering affects their mental health. So thank you for sharing that. Let's go here from your professional lens. Why is this thing so important? Because some people try to downplay it, but it's so important that we have to have the tough conversations like this to address it, because many people don't feel like it's important.
Let me tell you. It's so important. And I made sure I made a note, okay? Just in this year alone, you know, we just got in 2022, right?
Right.
Okay. You got, and condolences to the families of those that, for the people that I'm about to talk about now, okay? Chelsea Kirst, 2019 Miss USA, age 30. Moses Mosley of The Walking Dead, age 31. Okay. Regina King's son, Ian, age 26. Okay. And what we fail to realize is there are approximately 1 in 5 adults that
Mm-hmm.
suffer, okay, with mental illness.
Yeah.
Okay. People are taking their lives every day. People are suffering in silence every day. And even if they don't go through it, the suicide ideations with everything that is happening in the world is growing so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, if we do not normalize and destigmatize the conversation centered around mental health, this is not only going to expand not just for adults, but I'm talking about children. When you have mothers that are concerned, Doc, about their young children, not only with suicide, but just the thoughts and the
Yeah.
curiosity centered around the afterlife, that, listen, we have to, that's why I work with children and adults. We got to normalize the conversation. It's important because people are dying. It's important because people are suffering. It's important because people's, not only are their mental health, but their physical health, their emotional health. All of this is being, at a place of detriment.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's and listen, I had my paper too. I had my names too, and some of the same names. But I want to add, we recently had a mayor in the DC area, Hyattsville,
wow.
Maryland, commit suicide this past weekend. And I share with you how I feel like I am so behind on certain things. Because I remember I told you in the email, so much has happened.
Yeah.
To catch you up, we had a staff member in my school lose his life last week. So I've been dealing with supporting the students, supporting the staff myself, because this guy hadn't been around long, maybe 2 years. But I shared with a student today, it's not the length of time you've been somewhere, but the strength of the time you've been there. This gentleman had been there 2 years, but he had made such an impact on the staff and the students. And one thing the kid told me today, the reason why I miss him so much is because he told us when we left class every day that he loved us. And I was like, wow, the fact that this man makes such an impact on you, that no matter how bad you were in his class or how your behavior was, they said that he told you that he loved you each and every day. He came back to work the very next day like it was nothing for him. Come to
Wow.
find out in the grief and loss group that I was in today, people had been wondering and questioning what happened to him. But I'm just the kind of person where if they go on, let me pray for them and keep it moving. I'm not
Right.
concerned with the chatter of what everyone is saying. Come to find out in the grief and loss support group I was in today, support my staff, the woman said, well, it was suicide. So now it adds another layer of epiphany for someone like me who works in a school, who I am constantly working with the scholars that I work with to suicide ideations. Do you have a plan? Do I need
Right.
the FB12? You things like that. But there are staff suffering just as much as the students are, and no one was able to pay attention to or catch the sign of what this gentleman was saying in regards to how he felt mentally. I was beating myself up last week because I actually saw this gentleman on the last day he was at work. He was at work like normal at work. And I was clearing the hallway and I said, hey man, I'm going to come back and check on you. Let me clear this floor. I went up 2 floors, pushed kids in classes, and I never made it back to the floor he was on. So for me, this mental health thing is big and huge. And I said, I got to just get this out. Let me get Dr. S on to help myself and help other people. Because like you said, we have to destigmatize this thing. It's not a bad thing to discuss. It's just it kind of makes you actualize and realize some things that people don't want to talk about. Let's talk about this thing. It's real. It's out there. You said the part about destigmatizing. I'm going to go here because you tap right into what I was thinking. Where's the question that I have? Dispelling the stigma of what mental health looks like. Right. You look at someone like Chelsea Christ. You look at someone like Regina King's son, who your mama's Regina King. Like, what we don't. People have this idea of what mental health looks like. So let's talk about dispelling this stigma of what it looks like, because it doesn't have a look to me.
Right. And we stay in a culture. We stay in a world where we have been so, I say, bullied to show up looking like we have it all together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't show up in that way, that's when people begin to be concerned. So when you want to hide and you want to mask, you're going to show up every day. You're going to show up in that light. You're going to show up dressed to the nines, or your presentation, because you don't want nobody to really see that side of you because it's so frowned upon. So
Mm-hmm.
we have been so conditioned as a society to show up with a mask. I know it all too well, to show up like you have it all together, and sometimes we hide behind it by being that person that take care of everybody, being that person that rescues everybody. And those are the people sometimes that suffer the most when they are alone.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's all about the fact of you want to pretend and you want to come as if there is nothing wrong. And if you don't have people asking the right questions, I say
Questions.
this, you got to ask the right questions, right? And so when you ask your strong friend, like, you can't just tell me that you're good. I'm going to ask what makes it so good. You can't just tell me that I'm all right. Well, what makes it all right? We got to get into, pulling it out of them by asking questions that where they don't feel defensive. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, most
But
definitely.
again, we have been conditioned to dress it up. We've been conditioned to dress up our pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
We make that thing look so good, but then when we go home, it's a whole nother level of sadness, depression, defeat. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why we got to normalize where we're saying, I'm not okay today, and not feeling like we're going to be judged. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
It definitely makes sense because when you said the thing about saying I'm not okay, I have an accountability partner in my building who's a school psychologist. So she works, her office is right next door to mine. Some days we come in and she and I balance off of each other. I'll say, sis, I don't have it today. She said, well, bro, dig as deep as you can. And
Right.
when you tap out, tag me. So it's like we have to have those type of conversations where some days we just don't have it. Some days I'm not okay. Some days I don't wake up at 5:30 in the morning to go to work, to be cursed out by a student because I just asked him to put his tie on or get in uniform but before you go upstairs to class. Some days I just don't have it. So I have to have those accountability partners at work, in life, especially at work and places like that, to help me, get myself back together to get to a place where I'm good. Like you said, ask the clarifying questions. Oh, I'm good. What makes it so good? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
okay. How can okay become better? It's
Right.
like grandma used to say, my grandma would say, now I called so and so on the phone. Mind you, my grandma didn't have a car. Didn't have a car at all. But didn't have a license, but always had a car because you would drive her wherever she needed to go.
That
Hey,
is too funny.
I called so and so, and she don't sound right. Take me over there so I can see her. Like
Let me lay
you
my
can,
eyes on her.
and let me lay my eyes on you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to lay our eyes on
Yeah.
people because you can lie through you can lie through a text message.
Yeah.
You can lie
That's
through a
true.
phone conversation. But let me lay my eyes on you to make sure you're good, like the old folks used to say they used to do,
Right.
because it added a certain layer of someone actually does care. Someone
Right.
coming lay their eyes on you could be the thing between you holding a gun to your head or taking some pills, but because the Lord sent them to intervene on your
Right.
behalf, it totally changes their disposition. So I love how you said asking the right questions. Like there's
Right.
never a and it's never a comfortable thing to ask the right questions.
No.
We just do it. We just do it because we know something is off.
Right. Right.
Let
And I
me
just want to
see.
say this as well. That's why the more we make it comfortable, to talk about mental health, maybe it just make it easier for someone to say, I'm just not okay. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because sometimes, depending on your title, who you are, we kind of, overbearing in the church where, if you have a title or something, you can't say that you're not okay. Or if you are a CEO, it's like they make you feel that you always have to have it together. And I say this with the most humblest spirit. That is not fair.
Mm-mm.
That's not fair. I had a friend to put up a post today on Facebook that say the coach need a coach. The therapist need a therapist. The preacher needs a preacher, right? Because just because you hold a title doesn't mean that you have it all together. I have a therapist that I
Mm-hmm.
know I need to see.
Yeah.
Okay. I got some issues, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I'm able to help people. But I also recognize that even with what I do, I need someone too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny you say that because I told someone one day, I said, well, if I'm always the one encouraging people, who encourages me? Sometimes I need to be encouraged, like the song says.
Right.
No matter what's going on, I'm praying he gonna make it all right. I'm trying to stay strong, but I need
Right.
somebody to encourage me today because I ain't got it. And
Right.
like you said, normalizing getting a therapist as well. In the
Right.
fields that you and I both work in, I was telling the woman today in the group session, I said, COVID hit me like a boomerang. She said, why do you say that? I said, because for
Mm.
me, I had to get to a good place of where I was able to finally separate home and work life. I finally got to the
Mm.
point where I was able to leave work at work. And when I come home, I relax. I said,
Yeah.
and then COVID hit and you got
Mhm.
us working from home. That made
Right.
it so much worse because I would do my work, then I would
Right.
probably go ride my bike or something, take my
Right.
shower, come back in the house, I'll take my shower, and by 9 o'clock, oh, let me open my laptop and finish this project or that
Mhm.
project. So working at home made it worse for me. I said, and
Mhm.
then it got to the point where I would, when I was in the building with the students, Dr. S, like you said, I would go to work. My routine was go to work 12 to 14 hours, come home, take my shower, then lay in my bed in the dark for like 20 minutes just to
Wow.
decompress and come down from my
Mhm.
day because I was bringing the issues of my students home with
Mhm.
me. That was not normal. I can't normalize bringing home other people's problems on top of my own and
Mhm.
still wake up the next morning and give these kids my best self because
Right.
they need it. So that's
Right.
really made me say I got to get a therapist myself, or someone to talk to because this isn't normal. Like you
Yeah.
and I were talking about destigmatizing this thing. There is no look. Mental health does not have a look, but
It doesn't.
so many people are confused by the YouTube and the TikTok videos and whatever else they see. They think this is what mental health looks like. You have people who have it all together,
Yeah.
who are struggling out in these streets. So
Yeah.
there's no way to talk about what it looks like.
Right.
I love how you said I love how you said the piece about, you know, people have this misconception. So I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
what are some challenges that people have shared with you surrounding mental health? Like someone comes to you and say, Dr. S, I'm struggling. Like,
Yeah.
what do some of these challenges look like? Because someone watching may be in in denial, but they're having these
Mhm.
same challenges and don't want to address it as mental health. I'll just take it to the chin and keep it moving. Oh, I'm just
Right.
stressed out. That's mental. Those are mental health challenges. So, what are some things that people may have shared with you?
You know, it comes up, it creeps up, to where, you have a moment of sadness one day, then you find that the next day, this ongoing sadness it can definitely lead to depression, right?
Hmm.
But it comes up with, not being able to really eat, feeling like the stress, you can't really manage it, you're feeling like just the weight of life is on your shoulders. You stop interacting with your friends. You want to get isolated. I have a client that said, I don't just feel like being around anybody. And that's when I ask, okay, so tell me what that looks like.
Hmm.
What does it feel to be by yourself? And then what does it feel to be in the midst of other people? Like, what are you feeling? She was like, I just don't feel like I'm understood. I just don't feel like I'm seen. I don't feel
Hmm.
like I'm heard. And when people start feeling like they're by themselves, they will isolate, even down to like not doing the things that they would normally do. Like I don't even feel like doing that no more. Like I
Hmm.
used to love doing that, but I don't love doing it anymore. That self-sabotage, even the way you look at yourself, here it is. You may again have it all together and things are looking good for you financially. And listen, I want to make this point. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. That person is not immune from having any type of mental health or mental illness. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Money sometimes don't always buy you peace. Can we make note of that? That is, money can't always buy you peace. because
That's it.
even those with money can sometimes be tormented. But I say that to say it comes from just everything changing. You can't even think of anything positive. You can't even think of anything to be grateful for. Negativity is consuming you. You just want to sleep. You want to just sit in the dark. So always looking at your behaviors, right? We all have a day, okay? We have a day. That don't mean that you have a mental illness or you're depressed. But if this thing keeps going on and you see a total change in your behavior, your responses, the way you're thinking, hey, I need for you to pause. And at this point, I need you to take full evaluation of where you are and to know that it's okay to pick up the phone to say, I'm not okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Take action and do something about it. Like
Yes.
you have to know that you're not okay, and reach out to somebody. And you
Right.
made it, and you made it. And I learned something about you tonight earlier when you made the comment. So I didn't know you worked with the adults and the teenagers. So
Mhm.
this is something that just dropped in my spirit. There's a parent watching that doesn't realize what's happening with their child. What are some things that you know from from the work that you do,
Mhm.
of signs of the teenager that may be struggling from mental health challenges?
Again, just knowing their behavior, their pattern. But this is the thing that I learned with my own daughter,
Mm-hmm.
okay? To learn how to communicate with them, not from a place of attacking, but if you just let them talk, you'll figure out so much more about them. And I had to, and this is something that I'm constantly learning, to listen, not to respond, Shahara, but listen to understand, right? And that takes a long way. And allowing them to expand on their day, allowing them to tell you how they feel without us getting all bent out of shape as parents. That has really allowed me to have a better relationship with my children by just listening to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then saying, can I speak now? Okay. Do you want to really, kind of making it an interactive type of conversation? And for my younger babies, you'll be so surprised how the younger babies, the younger children, because I work for K, basically K5 all the way up to high school. And then I have a program, Mind for Kids, and then it goes over to the adults. But even working with the babies, that anger, like we fuss at them about their behavior, but no one is teaching them about how to handle their emotion.
Yeah.
Sometimes we as adults don't know how to handle our emotions, okay?
Come
So
on.
come on, that's real. Okay.
Yes.
And so with our kids, in my program, I teach them what is anger. What triggers their anger. Some of them, but when I can't get on my game, like we got to let them know and teach them about their emotions. We're getting mad at them for responding a certain way. They're only responding how they know how to respond, or better yet, what they've seen.
And there, and you added exactly what the point she was making. Grandma would say, God gave you two ears for a reason and one mouth,
Yeah.
which means you got to listen more intently than you talk. Dr. S, listen, let them talk, let them get it out. Like, because
Yeah.
if you don't let them get it out, it makes
Yeah.
them frustrated. It puts them in a space of anger, like you said,
Yeah.
and then it could ultimately lead to something you said a few minutes ago of self-sabotage. Like, we definitely don't want that, because
Right.
we are in the business of coaching and
Yeah.
cultivating and taking this piece of clay as a parent or as an administrator or as a teacher, and helping to mold it into something beautiful. And we can't, I don't want God to catch me with my fingerprints on anything that wasn't pleasing to him. So
Clearly.
if I mess something up by contaminating something, I don't want to be. I don't want to do that,
Forgive
especially
me,
in.
Lord.
Forgive me, Lord. Exactly.
I want to say this, Doc, really quick. So I had this one little boy, bless his heart. So he kept getting in trouble in school. Behavior, they want to say ADHD, they want to just put him on plans. And I sat the baby down and I say, now tell me, now you keep getting in trouble at school and you keep just behaving. And I misbehaving. I say, tell me. I say, this is our secret. What's going on? He said, Dr. S, she boring. He said, I don't. He said, I don't learn nothing in a classroom. And I just be wanting to go outside and play because it's boring. And what we realize that these children are the intuitiveness and the intelligence that most of them have, the things that we're teaching them, they want to learn more. They want to be more interactive. That baby said he misbehaved to get out of her class because she boring.
Because she bored.
Now, did anybody ask him why he was misbehaving? And he would have probably told them that she was boring.
She's boring. Meaning she's not challenging me in these classes. Maybe I need to be in a talented and gifted program or testing to go to a higher grade level because she boring. But they are so quick to say there's a mental health concern. Yeah. Let's give him an IEP, or no, let's have him tested to say he has ADHD or something like that. And the whole time he's telling you she boring. But like you said, providing the space for him to have the conversation. The safe space to have the conversation,
right?
As a total, another layer of support and confidence for him to be able to say, Dr. S, this woman is boring. That's why I act up in her class and I cause all kind of hell and ruckus because she boring.
She boring, and I want to go outside and play.
I want to go outside and play. Period. Point blank.
Right.
Okay, Doc, I gotta go here.
Okay. Because you see, I done moved all the way up in the camera, okay? So let me just sit back.
Faith and mental health, can they coexist? Because some people would tell you that they can't, but as a bona fide believer, I'm telling you they can and they do over here. I don't know about who else in the house, but I know they exist over here. But I don't have a license in this or a degree. So let me ask Dr. S what I got on the show tonight. Can they coexist? What's your take?
I am team Jesus in therapy. You're Jesus in therapy. Okay. I believe that, and that's why so many people, when we over religiousize things and we get so in this theology and this doctrine, we understand that Jesus comes first and we're going to pray. But there are professionals that I believe that God has put on this earth to help us to cope. And when we tap into that professional part of it, it helps us to see him clearer. It helps us to have that peace on earth in our mind. It helps with the transformation of the mind. And so I always say, there is a peace, a supernatural peace that God is going to bring to our life, period. But then there's also a piece of it that we must do on our own so that we can co-create with him and create a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mental lifestyle, right? And so listen, that does not mean because you go to therapy that you need to stop praying. It's not saying that Jesus is not head of your life. What it's saying is I'm going to take full responsibility so that I can live a more clear life, see him in a different place, and better yet, live the life that he has ordained for me to live. Jesus in therapy. It's okay.
It's something else in there, so keep going.
You know how I do, and I'm keeping it together. Don't push me.
No, go. Tell you my big sister here. Go ahead.
But yeah, so and you have people, okay? You've heard me talk, honey. We some shouting people. We was raised in the church, so we get it. And here it is: we shout, but we leave church with no strategy. So we go home. We done got sweat. We sweat all up and we done dance all around the church, but we're not leaving with a strategy. So we go back home in the same situation, not knowing what to do. So we're going to put a praise on it, but also God is calling us for action. There is something that we must do. Okay. There's principles that must be put in place. Okay, we can't just take the prophecy and think that it's just going to manifest. No, there is work to be done. That work may be you going to therapy. That work may be that you are looking within yourself and identifying the truth about yourself so you can be free. You understand what I'm saying? So we can't just shout and leave it there. No, I need you to shout, put some strategy behind it, get the help that you need so that it can all come together. Jesus in therapy. Jesus in therapy now. Let's talk about it.
Listen, you made a comment about the work. And the Bible already says that faith without works is dead. So you're
Yeah,
sitting up here going to church, you're shouting, and and your kids acting crazy. You don't know why, but it's the simple stuff like putting in the work. Maybe Johnny acting up because you don't spend time with him. Maybe Johnny acting up because you just always buying the next hottest game console, and all he wanted to spend time with his mama or
that's
to
and
spend some
that's
quality
it.
time with his daddy. So
That's
you got
it.
to put the work in, and when you have the faith and you believe in the mental health and you believe in the mental health spectrum, you have to see
Right.
how they can coexist successfully. And
Right.
that faith is what gets us over a lot of times when we have those challenges. Like when those days
Right.
those days when I don't feel like it, when I have to
Right.
dig deep. A quick prayer
Right.
will change that around. A quick
Yes.
meditation will change that around. A quick
Absolutely.
affirmation will change my whole disposition or anybody's whole
Right.
disposition if they have something to rely on. And it's
Right.
so hurtful. It's so hurtful to me when mm, let me say this correctly with tact and diplomacy. When someone does a selfish act of taking their life and they
Mm,
don't have a faith to rely on,
my Lord.
that really does something to me because if you had a different type, that's right, Tammy, faith and Jesus in therapy. If you had some type of faith to rely on, in my opinion, that faith could have got you through and made you could have changed your decision of taking your own life or taking those pills or that faith that you have God could have sent someone your way and that one conversation or that one word or that one I love you phrase or something like that could have
Yeah.
changed your whole disposition in the midst of. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, let me say this too, because you have pastors and people that take their life all the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sense of darkness, and we know the darkness, the principalities, and the things that attack our mind from the whole spiritual place, right? But what I do know, just from a personal journey, when that darkness comes, it can be so overwhelming. Okay. And I understand it was like you can break it and we can break it. It can be broken. Okay. But for those that are believers, understanding that here it is. Let's be real tonight. Okay. Here
Mm-hmm.
it is. You are praying. Okay. And nothing is changing in your life. But you praying, you're tithing, you're shouting, you're praising, but nothing is changing in your life. For someone, even in the church, as a believer, that can really be vexing on the heart. And that can be very taxing because the God that you serve, the God that you're praising, it's like we know that he may not come when we want him, but he's right on time. It's that in between time, that gray area that sometimes our faith begin to dwindle and we begin to say, God, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you in a dark place, sometimes you don't have the patience, to wait. So you start thinking of things outside of the will of God that you just want the pain to go away. You just want the situation to be better. And sometimes you don't have the mental capacity. So even as a believer, it can get hard.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a believer, you can just sometimes lose faith. And that's why we got to constantly make sure that we're staying around people that are pouring into us to make us see, to enlighten us, to encourage us, even when we can't encourage ourselves. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
You gotta you gotta have the right people around you.
Yes.
So when you're done pouring, someone else can pour back into you. Because you give out so much, but when you have a cup and you get to drinking your drink, there's
Yeah.
always some maybe one or two drops of residue in the bottom of the cup. But
Right.
who do you have around you that can add to the little residue that you have?
Listen. You got to have the right people. I'm telling you, because life and just trying to journey in this life, I'm telling you, and things not happening fast enough. You got a single mother that's trying to feed her kids, but she praying. You got
Mm-hmm.
somebody, a pastor that's trying to lead the church, but yet
Yeah.
he going through his own stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got just all these different examples. And it's not that you're not praying. It's not that you're not putting in the work, but things may not be moving fast enough. And there is a spirit called, listen, I'm tired.
Go
I'm
ahead.
weary. And listen, I don't have any more strength for anything. And so in that moment, the enemy comes in, begin to remind you of how everything in your life is going wrong. So sometimes you can't even see the good.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to have principles in place. You got to have the right people in place. That's why I say, even as a believer, as we said earlier, you need Jesus in therapy, but also having the right people around you to remind you that God is going to come through. That's going to remind you that this is a season of your life, reminding you of your previous testimony, that if he's done it before, he'll do it again. And that's from the faith realm, right? But you got to have the right people to remind you of that. But when it gets silent, when you listen, sometimes you are by yourself, that's when the enemy is attacking the minds of the believers when they have given out so much and they don't have no more to give.
And they by themselves.
Coming in like a thief in the night.
Seeking to who he can devour. Let me stop. Look, you said the principles you gotta have the principles in place.
Yes.
What are some principles or suggestions that Dr. S can offer to create a balanced life? I'm struggling with this mental health thing, but these are some things Dr. S said I can possibly do to create balance. So it's not so much of a struggle or a burden, but it leads me to have some sense of balance.
Right. I say this, every morning I teach meditation at 6 a.m. for my Trailblazer group. It's all about how you start your day, for one. Okay. If you get up running and you don't even have that time to breathe, you don't have that time to sit and center yourself. It's like from that point on, you're literally running on fumes, right? So how you start your day is important. Knowing when it's time for you to pause. I always say for the pause is holy. The pause is holy, right? It's okay for you to pause. It's okay for you to say no. And you've heard me say this before. No is a complete sentence, okay?
Complete.
Period. Okay. It's okay to put in some regiments of things that you love to do. I know sometimes as parents, we get so consumed with the lives of our children. I want to remind you on tonight that it's okay to do something for you. Okay. It's okay to steal away, get out, walk, move your body, do something intellectual for your mind outside of the norm. Get a book, read it, journal, my power of prayer and meditation, right? Just really centering yourself. One of the things that I've learned, is being around just a sister circle or getting around friends, just having a time out and enjoying yourself. Laughter is a good little, outlet for you, right? We don't always have to be serious. Sometimes we're too serious, right? But it's okay. I just say, make sure how you start your day, how you end your day matters. Back away from the computer. Walk away. Go walk, right? And if you get to a point where you're so down in the dumps, I want you, listen to me, okay? I want you to pray, believers, but I do want you to have someone that you can reach out to. Have that resource that you can call up and a safe place to say, I'm not okay. I want to make sure I add that in there as well.
And that's the piece that I think people miss a lot of times, is having that point person to say, yes, I'm not. Well, I'm sorry, having the freedom to say I'm not okay, then identifying a point person. We get so caught up in identifying a person I can borrow $20 from.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in, I got somebody I can call and say, can you cash at me $40 a Friday? Yeah. But that's easier to do than, hey, I'm not okay. Can you just come by and check in with me? Just come by and just be around me. That way I'm not by myself. Let's normalize things like that, which help to create balance. It helps to create support. It helps to destigmatize the face of what people say, the face of mental health is, because there is no face. You just never know what anybody is dealing with. Right. I think that this is probably one of the biggest, one of the biggest influencers of mental health challenges in the African American family. This is my perception.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna post this question. Post this topic, and I feel like this is what starts a lot of mental health challenges in most of our families growing up, and even still to this day. What goes on in this house stays in this house.
I'm so
How
sick
has
of
this
it.
hurt
I'm
us
sick of it.
as an African American race? Because it evolves into a mental health
Yeah.
challenges. Let me ask Dr. S this question because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this quote too. What happened in this house stays in this house, and now you see why you didn't want to talk about it. Johnny May got 5 kids. Um, the,
Not
the,
Johnny.
the baby is dealing with mental health challenges at school. The oldest daughter acting out. This type of phrase helps to perpetuate and purport mental health challenges in our race. So let me get Dr. S's take on this ugly phrase.
Listen, trailblazer, generational curse breaker, and legacy builder. How you gonna be able to break generational curses? What worked for mom and them? Honey, 9 out of 10 ain't gonna work for you, okay? Because they have been taught to hold in secrets, and literally how they have mothered us or fathered us has been from a place of their own traumas and then their mama's traumas, and so now they're passing it on to you and trying to have things in such secrecy, and everybody is toxic. Everybody, got their own traumas that nobody's wanting to talk about, and that is not healthy. It's not healthy for you or your children. And so what I had to realize is it don't work. I want you to tell yourself a lot of times what worked for mom and them don't work for you. Okay. And I'm not saying we don't have to disrespect our parents, but baby, we got to filter some things. Some things they right on, but some things you got to filter it, and you got to ask yourself, does this work? Hear me out. Does this work for me and my household? And listen, and that's when you got to start making changes. We get so deep. You know how you break a generational curse? By making a different choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's by making a different choice. It's simple. It's simple. So we can't keep smothering. We can't keep hiding. We can't keep sweeping stuff up under the rug. No, ma'am. It's time to deal so that you can heal. Period.
It's something else in there. Keep going.
Don't see how you do. I've been trying to be good on this whole.
You already know you at home. Go.
Listen. So, but this is the thing, especially since it's Black History Month. Can we talk real quick? Listen, guys, we got to come up under that control. That's one thing in the Black family. That control, like that's the best freedom you can ever have, is to come from up under the control and understand that it's okay to seek the help without always having to go to our parents about everything. I get that. Okay. But we got to understand that if we want better, we got to do better. And I know that they did the best they could. Mom did the best she could. Dad did the best he could from where they was working with. But it's time for you to take on the mantle to say, this does not work for me. I choose to break free. I choose to come out of bondage mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, right? What they did, it don't work for me. And when we can really realize that a lot of times family is toxic, when we realize that the people in the family cannot, because what you trying to do, hear me out, what you trying to do, they've never done. Okay, so how can you, let me stop.
Keep going. Keep going.
On anything that you've never done? If anything, you're holding me back, right? Yeah. So what we got to realize in this new trailblazer generation of breaking generational curses and building legacy, you can't talk to me about finances no more because your finances busted and disgusted, right? So we got to realize, when is it time that we create our own trail of success? When is it time that we begin to seek professional help in every area of our life so that we can build a legacy and not leave back so much debt? And I'm talking about deficits mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
And financially. It's fun. Green, jump in here. We always taught that the next generation should go one step further than the previous one. So it's funny how you said that you made the comment about holding me back. Either you're holding me back to sabotage me, or you're holding me back because you're scared of the potential that I have moving forward. If you want me to stay where you were as the previous generation, you're either holding me back intentionally or you're trying to sabotage what God has set out for me to accomplish. So I love how you said that, because like Adia, I like what you said, Adia, parenting from a place of their own traumas. This thing is huge. So many African American children have parents who are parenting from a place of their traumas, which turns into jealousy. I've had students who were about to graduate from high school, and mama's upset with you because you're about to graduate because she dropped out of school to give birth to you. But mama, that's just not anything to be that's not anything to be competing about or causing dissension about. That was the goal for her to go, or him to go one step further than you. Go ahead.
Or trying to live their life through you. So they telling you what to do because it's what they wanted to do, but they wasn't able to do it. So they're trying to control you to do it their way. Well, baby, your way don't work. Mm-hmm. Your way does not work. And when we understand the one of the things I know in the Black homes, it is sometimes hard for us to stand up to our parents because we have marked it as disrespect. And so we have conformed to ways just to try to people please our parents. And that has kept us stuck for years. You understand? And so we got to realize that in order to break this generational curse, we got to say, Mama, I love you, but it don't work for me. Daddy, I appreciate you, but that don't work for me. Right? And not feel guilty that we're standing up for ourselves. We got to stop allowing our parents to control us to a place where now we're stagnant in our growth. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go one step further. I'm gonna go one stop bullying your children. I'm gonna go one step further. It didn't work for you, so it sure ain't gonna work for me. You want me to go? You didn't do it, so if it didn't work for you, how do you think it's gonna work for me? Stop bullying and what do you call it? Where you apply the pressure to coerce someone into doing something that manipulating them, the children, to do something that you want them to do. When that's not what I have. That's not what God has in store for me. I don't want to stay in DC. I want to go to school, and I ain't never been there. I want to go to school in Arizona. I don't know why. I had a kid tell me today. I said, "Go." Why? My mom doesn't want me to go. Why? You've never been out of DC. Get your butt on that plane and go to Arizona. Matter of fact, I'll pay for half of the airline ticket for you to get there if that's what it takes. Those are the type of things that I find myself doing and challenging the kids that I work with daily, because they don't know. They have parents who don't know, and the manipulative spirit, which leads to mental health challenges and helping them to identify, can either come in the form of overeating, anxiety, depression, ADHD, all those different type of things. And these are kids who have bright futures, Dr. S, like you said, but because your mama was scared and didn't do and wanted now to manipulate you, or your dad wants to manipulate you into doing XYZ, you're settled and you're mad working at McDonald's. Go ahead.
And let me say this. Like, for me, the transition for me, my daughter just turned 18, my son is 22. And ever since I was 20 years old, I've been a parent. And so I've been having a very difficult time transitioning to the place like, oh my God, my babies don't need me anymore. And I remember this advice I got was to stop looking to parent, but now to guide them. You know, when they ask me to give them my best, suggestion, but also, point them in the direction of seeking professional help themselves, right? And from that, just understanding as a parent, the transition, we want to be in control. I said, God, help me to relinquish the control. I don't want to be that parent that constantly eggs on and wants to control their children, because I understand what that looks like. And I don't want that for my kids. So I've been asking God, allow me to let them live. Allow me to know my place in their life right now, so I won't overbear them, a mother, as I call it, mother hen them, so that they can grow, they can live, and they can probably do far more than what I can ever imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you are absolutely right. I love how you see it. It's more so once they get to a certain age, let me just try to help guide you. I'm gonna give you some direction, but you don't have to do I would like if you do what I said to do, but let me give
Right.
you some guidance with regards to how I think you should navigate this life challenge or this life expectation that you have placed before yourself. Because I
Yeah.
think you would definitely benefit from doing that. So I love how you said now I'm in a different space.
Yeah.
I'm still Mama Bear,
Yeah.
but let me give you some guidance
It
with
ain't
regards to
easy,
how
but
I
it's
think.
necessary.
It ain't easy, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
Doc, let's go here. 5 non-negotiables when it comes to one's mental health. These are the 5 things that I'm not backing up on. I'm not what do you call it? I'm not wavering. I'm not bending. These are Dr. S's 5 things that it
Listen, I'm at a point now, my mental health, I'm not finna be going back and forth with people. I'm over it. Hey, if it listen, at the end of the day, you can have it. Another thing is understanding the power of no. I
Mhm,
think that one of the things that I had to heal from and is people pleasing. Because that would drain you to a place where you don't even want to help anybody. And that is not of God, especially from a person like me. So, again, I'm not going back and forth. No is a complete sentence.
mhm,
My time with God for me has to be non-negotiable. I can't allow anybody, anything to come into my life that is going to really push me away from that centering, that time that I must have with him, because that's where I find my peace. Um, non-negotiables, interfering with my purpose. Like you can't, because I find so much thrill and passion in helping others. And so
mhm.
I got to make sure that I'm positioning myself. That's my topic in the Trailblazer community, the great positioning, making sure that I'm not getting so distracted that I'm forfeiting the position that God is putting me in. So, understanding when the distractions come. And my biggest thing is being mindful of my thoughts. Let me tell you something.
Mhm.
Them thoughts will have you to create a whole story in your mind. You hear me? So, I got to be careful about how the tactic of the enemy tries to come and throw
Yeah,
me off. And then I have to pause and make sure what I'm thinking, because your body hears everything that you're thinking. So,
yeah.
non-negotiable is continuing to allow toxic and negative thinking to consume me. I
Mhm,
got to stop it. I got to stop it. It may be an after effect, but then I realize I can't do that no more.
mhm.
You know what I
No,
mean?
you're right. You're right. I got. Let me put a hard stop right here so I can just detach and keep this
Yeah. Yeah.
jump off this track and keep the next train moving.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so Doc, before we get out of here, I haven't done top 5 in a while. So
Okay.
this is Dr. S's mental health edition top 5. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and
Okay.
just from your own mental health lens, what is it for you? Okay.
Okay.
So after a stressful time for you, would it be a nice drink, a glass of wine, or would it be hot tea?
Honeys, the church part of me would say hot tea, but baby, the real part of me said a glass of wine. Let's go.
Let's go. Look, red or white? Which one you want?
Give me white.
Okay, next one. For your mental health, Doc, is it a nice, good book or is it meditation?
Meditation, non-negotiable every morning at 6 a.m. Let me tell your listeners, you need to connect and join my Trailblazer community. Meditate with me, 6 a.m. in the morning.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Let's go. Mental health, Dr. S. Is it family and friends time or is it a long time for you?
Let me tell you, I love my alone time, but I love being around the right people.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about having a tribe that just kind of, so that alone time is good, but I like my tribe too. I like my
Mm-hmm.
tribe too.
Sidebar. This tribe time. Next time the tribe plan a birthday thing, I would have flew in to support my big sister. Let the
Listen,
tribe
I'm glad
know.
you I put
I'm
that
putting the tribe. I'm putting the tribe on blast right now. Let me stop.
out.
Next one. Is it a night out or a night in
The
for my mental
old
health?
me, let me tell you, the old me, I love a good night in, but let me be clear. At this point in my life, I like a good night out. Let me tell you. I went to a jazz bar that, oh, it was so good. I got up and I was dancing. And so right now, this 43 in me, I like a good vibe.
43 where?
For, okay. So I like a good, so I'm gonna say night out.
It's nothing like live music and lively
Yes.
people and just, yeah, I'm with you. Give me a
Yeah.
night out.
Yeah. The old me would say night in, but I'm just in a different place in life right now. And so I want to say a night out.
In this pandemic, I'm tired of being in. Let me go out.
Let me go out.
Let me go. We're not on lockdown. I'm going out.
Yes.
Last one, Doc. For you, is it traveling somewhere or is it just simply a staycation?
Oh, baby. I told myself when my kids, became young adults, I wanted to travel the world, whatever that looks like. So, baby, I'm ready to be flued out.
Passports needed to apply. Wherever they take this passport, we going.
Yes, that's where I'm at. And that's how I listen. I'm so excited about it. I'm excited about traveling. I'm excited about living. And that has been a part of my whole mental health regimen, is to say this. And your listeners, live. That's where I'm at. I want to live. I had COVID. I didn't know if I was going to make it out that thing. But coming out of it, I am willing to walk in my truth. But more importantly, I am willing to live. Yes.
And that's the big piece I feel like people are missing from the mental health lens.
Yeah.
You can struggle with mental health and still live.
Yeah.
Like we know people who are doing this thing every day. They have mental health challenges and they're still living their fulfilled lives in the midst of, because that's the glimmer of hope that's out there. Yeah, I'm dealing with this depression, but I can eventually come out of it. My goal is to come out of it and still live. Yeah, I'm going through this broken down marriage right now, but I still got to be able to live. Yeah, my kids are driving me crazy right now, but I still have the opportunity to live. So thank you for saying that. And while we're talking about living, Doc, somebody watching, I'm just going to step back and let you pour mental health wise, spiritual wise. You know how you do. You go right ahead.
Yeah. So listen, I even said today, I put out a video about trailblazers, but I want to say this, okay? Understanding that your mental health has to be your priority, okay? And that means that when you know that you're not okay, say that, okay? When you know you need help, seek the help. Okay. And understanding that your life matters. Your life matters. And no matter what situation that you're in, your past does not define who you are. Okay. Even your present circumstance, it does not define who you are, right? Every day we get to wake up and make a choice. No matter what we chose on yesterday, we don't have to choose it the next day. So I want you to know that, hey, it's time to live. No matter what has consumed you, that, hey, long as you got breath in your body, there's an ability to come out of that thing, right? But we first got to acknowledge the truth about ourselves. We got to acknowledge when it's time to stop. We got to acknowledge when it's time to pause. We got to acknowledge when it's time to seek the therapy. And knowing that it's okay. Jesus in therapy, read your Bible, therapy, pray, therapy. It's okay. We are coming out and we're coming out better. We're not who our parents are, okay? We're not who our family is. We are breaking generational curses and we are building a legacy. We're coming out better because we now are wiser to know I can't do this by myself and I got to seek the help that I need, not only for my life, but the legacy that I want to leave behind. My mental health will and shall be a priority.
The spirit telling me she's not done, so I'm just pause right there.
You know what? Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know I love it. You know I love when you come on, and when I see you, it's just us.
I know we're just at a place, Doc, that we got to stop. And I have to tell myself this too. We got to stop making the excuses, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find myself making a lot of excuses for my behavior, for my actions. Like we can't keep living in the pain of our past. You know, we really got to take hold of ourselves and make the effort to just put action behind it. We can't just talk about it. As they used to say, we got to be about it. And so here it is. No one else is responsible for our life. It's, as I say, it's me and Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, we got to stop making the excuses. We got to stop allowing ourselves to be controlled by people who does not have the capacity. Listen to me. They don't even have the capacity to help us to get to the next level. But they have held us at such a complacency. And so my prayer is the more we make our mental health a priority, the more we can get control of our emotions, the more we can get grounded spiritually, the more we can take control of our health. Listen, we are on a spree to becoming a better version of ourselves that we've never seen before. So my thing is, are you ready? Are you ready to live a life that you've never seen before? Are you ready to experience a life you've never experienced before? So if you want something different, you got to do something different. You got to think something different. Your actions got to be different if you want to see a difference in your life. So my question is, are you ready? Are you ready? Simple changes every day. Making your mental health a priority. Putting strategies in place, starting your day off, not worrying, but praising, starting your day off, sitting with yourself and sitting with your thoughts and breathing and allowing yourself to feel peace on earth. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready?
3 words. My
and
sister leave me out with 3 words.
3 is
3
my
words.
favorite number. Are you ready? Let's go.
I'm waiting on the "Are You Ready" merch shirt to come out.
Listen, are you ready?
Hashtag "Are You Ready?" I'm serious. You need to merch that.
Listen,
hashtag "Are You Ready?" Dr. S speaks.
I am so ready. I am so ready. I am so ready to see all that God has for me. And we got to be so hungry to know that we don't have to stay where we are. Get the help. It's not gonna listen, it's not gonna hurt you, it's gonna make you better. So then you have to ask yourself, do you want to get better?
It's like the show I did a little while ago about Black men and their health. It's like, as men, as Black men, we are scared to go to the doctor, but we pay a premium for insurance bi-weekly or monthly to go to the doctor. So we pay for it, but we don't use it. There are also mental health professionals out there who we have EAP programs with through our jobs, and some of us that don't have jobs, there are people out there that do it for free through clinics because they're licensed to do it, but we don't take advantage of those opportunities for mental health or our physical health. Are you ready? That's the question. My sister said, "Are you ready?"
Are you ready? I'm ready. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. Do you understand me? I say, God, if you put breath in my body, I'll talk about mental health every day. I'll try to put strategies in place every day. My mission, my purpose is very clear. Okay. But I also have to realize, and as professionals, we have to realize that those same principles that we teach others, we must also apply to our own life. Period.
Point and blank.
Point and blank. So Doc, Shaherah, are we applying? And if we not, we have a choice today to get on track. Yeah.
Let me close this show out because, Lord, what's next? Let me see how well you do with this pop quiz. You know, we've been working on this for a while. So what's next? How can people keep up with you? You know, I had to coach you through this in Atlanta. So let's see. Let me see if you got it now.
No, IG Dr. S speaks. You know, The website is being developed, but I have some awesome things. I have my Trailblazer community. There's tiers to it. You get to meet with me one-on-one. I am the one that teach coping and strategy and help you to make your mental wellness a priority, right? I love the collaborations that I have with therapists to make sure that you have a mental health team. Come on, somebody, a mental health team. But again, connecting with me, Dr. S Speaks at gmail.com, Trailblazer Nation. Every morning at 6 a.m., I am encouraging, I am facilitating meditation. I have my one-on-one coaching. I am available for speaking. I have a program, Mindful Leadership, for corporations, businesses, and churches. I want to travel the world. I want to come to you wherever you are. I want to come to you and help you to make your mental health a priority. And so again, speaking, traveling, coaching, that's what I do.
Can you teach me something?
Teach you how to breathe.
Come on, plug it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so definitely Teach Me How to Breathe is one of my signature programs as well. And just teaching you how to breathe properly, how to bring your ambiance to yourself no matter where you are. And so, again, I'm passionate about it. I have seen the fruit of my labor, not only in my life, but the clients that I have seen transformation. And so this is my jam. This is my jam, is to make sure that I'm helping to transform lives and talk about mental health like never before.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all, this has been the Mental Health Edition check-in with my sister, Dr. Shaherah Williams. I hope and I pray between us just being our authentic selves tonight that you got something. This is what we do. We're out here to help people. Again, I do this show every week. I don't know all the answers, but I know people that do.
Yes.
Dr. S is out here doing her thing. Please follow her. Please keep up with her and reach out to her from this day forward and moving and any other day. And are you ready is the question she asked you. So
are you ready?
If you're not ready, don't reach out to her. Don't waste my sister's time. I'm playing. This has been Dialogues with Doc. I will see you all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another amazing episode. Dr. S, hold tight. I'm going to close the show out.